welcome to another lawnfawn video. Today we are so excited to be introducing the platform pop-up Hillside wraparound, and we're also going to be introducing the platform pop-up Hillside inserts. These two products are a perfect add-on for our platform pop-up die. They help you get new and different looks, and they're so great. So let's go ahead and check them out. First up, we have our platform pop-up Hillside inserts, and these inserts give you lots of new and different styles to add into your platform pop-up. The original platform pop-up comes with a simple hillside and some grass, and now we have these really cool bumpy hillsides that you can add in there. They're great for grass, ocean, sand, dirt, snow, anything that you can think of. And just like the inserts for the platform pop-up, you're going to add 1/8" double-sided tape to the back and very bottom of each of these pieces. Then you're able to insert into your platform pop-up. And if you've never created a platform pop-up before, make sure to check out our Intro to Platform Pop-up video. We'll link it in the description below. So now we can just peel up that liner paper and attach the hillside inserts into the platform pop-up. And I love the look of these, especially because you can have one hill going one way and one hill going the other way. You can also layer these hills for cool and different looks. So here you can see what it would look like to take one of those hills and layer it on top. So you could have kind of like two little hills on one of the inserts, and it would look really, really amazing too. I just love that these inserts give you lots of cool, new, and fun ways to use the platform pop-up. Next up, we're going to take a look at the platform pop-up hillside wraparound. When you do this, you're going to die cut that larger piece twice, and you'll see that we have these really cool pieces that you can add on the front to help you decorate, and some adorable little stars as well. But first, let's take a look at the wraparound. To create the wraparound, you're going to die cut the main piece twice. Then we're going to add some 1/4" double-sided adhesive to both of the tabs on the outside of the tabs. Once we have the adhesive on the tabs, we can start to fold along the score lines that the die created for us. Next step is to attach them both together. So we're going to peel up the liner paper on one of the tabs, and we're going to line these two pieces up, forming one long line. Then we're going to go along to the other tab, and we're going to attach that one as well. And we're going to form kind of like a ring or a belly band that you would put around a card or invitation. Now the next part that's so cool is how easy this is to put onto your platform pop-up. So you build your platform pop-up exactly the normal way that you're used to. And then all you need to do is put the wraparound over top of it. So this is how we like to do that. We're going to add some tape runner to the platform pop-up in that area there below the bottom, just those kind of horizontal sections there. And you don't need to have a ton of adhesive, just a little bit will hold it in place really well. Then you're going to fit the wraparound right over top of your platform pop-up, kind of like putting a belly band over a card or invitation, and then you're going to press that down. I like to kind of have it press up against my fingers. You can also push the platform pop-up up and then just kind of put it down on the ground and kind of stack it like a deck of cards. Make sure it's in perfect placement, and look how cool that looks. I just love it. It gives the platform pop-up a totally different look, like rolling hillsides or snow. It could be grass, it could be ocean, it could be so many different things. And I think it's just so fun to give your platform pop-up a totally different look, but you can make your platform pop-up exactly how you already know how to make it. Now here are those cute little panels that you can put on top. I like to use these for little decorations or scenes or for putting my sentiment. And so we're going to layer those in the different panels of the platform pop-up. And I think it's just a fun and cool look. I really love that rounded one a lot. Even add the cute little stars that are included with the wraparound die in as decoration, and those are so much fun too. And then here is another look at both the platform pop-up wraparound and then also the hillside inserts. I just love that there's all these fun and new ways to decorate platform pop-ups because they are one of my favorite interactive cards to make. Now it's time to start creating some cards with these new add-ons. And one of the cool things is the wraparound and the hillside inserts work really well with the previous platform pop-up add-on, so everything can be mixed and matched together. So we're going to die cut a bunch of these pieces from some white cardstock, and we're going to be doing some inking. We're going to ink the platform pop-up add-on with some mermaid ink, and it's going to be inked darker towards the top and then lighter towards the bottom. And then we're also going to add some of that same mermaid ink just to the very tops of the hills. And I think this is such a cool look that makes them look kind of icy. Next up, we're going to be doing some stenciling for some texture, and we're going to be using the brand new Snow Flurries background stencil, and we're going to use this with some fairy dust stencil paste. And this is a clear, glittery paste, so this is going to be kind of subtle and more for texture because there's going to be a lot going on this card. And right now, we are recreating a beautiful card by Tammy, so thank you so much, Tammy. And then my favorite part of stenciling, lifting up that stencil to see everything that's underneath. And so you can see that beautiful, glittery, sparkly shine we're going to have in the background of that platform pop-up add-on. So now it's time to actually start creating our platform pop-up. So we've die cut 2 main base pieces and also 3 of the T-shaped pieces. And we're going to start off by folding all of the score lines on both of those main base pieces. And don't forget, if you've never made a platform pop-up before, make sure to check out the intro video. We've got it linked in the description below. So we're going to finish up folding all of the score lines on both of the pieces. And then we're going to focus on one of those main base pieces and one T-shaped piece. And at the bottom of the T-shaped piece, there's a little score line. We're going to fold that score line and add a little bit of tape there at the very end below the score line. We're also going to add some of that 1/4" tape to the bottom tab and side tab of the platform pop-up. We'll flip it up so we're looking at the inside of the platform pop-up. We're going to insert the T. We're going to peel off that liner paper and then pull that T so it's flush with the edge and press down, securing it in place. Then we can peel up the liner paper on the tab, fold that under, and press down. And now we have 1/2 of our platform pop-up. So we're going to do the same thing again. Fold along that score line on the T-shaped piece, and then we're going to add that 1/4" double-sided tape on to the platform pop-up on that bottom tab there and the side tab, and then we're also going to add it below the score line on the T-shaped piece. Then we're going to flip it over to the inside of the platform pop-up. We'll insert the T-shaped piece, pull it so that it's flush with the edge, peel off that liner paper, and secure the tab in place. And we'll peel up the liner paper on that tab there, and we'll fold up one more time, fold that tab under, and secure it in place, and we'll have our second little 3-dimensional platform pop-up piece. Next, we'll take the third T-shaped piece. We're going to fold along that score line, but then we're actually just going to trim that piece right off. Then we're going to add some of that double-sided adhesive to the back of the T-shaped piece along that bottom part, vertical part of the T. And then we can go ahead and attach that there. And we're just going to eyeball it and line it up with the other piece. And we're going to attach that to just one of the platform pop-up pieces. And then on the other one that doesn't have the extra T-shaped piece, we're going to add some adhesive to that front part area. Next, we're going to attach the 2 pieces to form one long piece. So we'll peel up that liner paper and kind of butt the 2 pieces up against each other and then attach that tab in place. Then we can peel up the adhesive that we have on one side of the platform pop-up, and we're going to fold it in half and line those 2 pieces up just like that. And then we can tuck in that last tab, remove that liner paper, and attach the whole thing. And that forms our platform pop-up. And isn't that so cool? I just love these cute 3-dimensional cards. Next thing we're going to do is take that platform pop-up add-on, and we're going to add some 1/8" double-sided tape along the back and the bottom of this piece. And then we're going to be inserting that into the platform pop-up. So we'll peel up the liner paper and attach that right into the back. Next, we're going to take out the wraparound die, and we're going to die cut this twice from some pattern paper. The die creates some score lines, so we're going to fold along those score lines on both of the pieces. Then after we have both of those score lines all folded, we're going to add some 1/4" double-sided tape to the outside of both of those tabs. The next thing we need to do is make this whole big kind of belly band wraparound piece. So we're going to peel up the liner paper on the first tab and line up these pieces to create one long piece. And then we're going to peel up the liner paper on the second tab, and we're going to line that up, and that's going to form kind of like a little ring or belly band. Then we can start to add that onto our platform pop-up. So we're going to add some tape under there, right just along that kind of horizontal thing. You don't have to add a ton, just a little bit is fine. And then we'll flip it over and add a little bit of adhesive on the back as well. And then the cool thing is the wraparound will also fit over the platform pop-up add-on too. So you can actually put that just right over. And then as you put it over, you're going to make sure it kind of hits your thumbs there at the bottom at the end of the platform pop-up and secure that in place. It's time to add in the inserts. So we are going to flip them all over and add some 1/8" double-sided adhesive to the back and bottom of each of these pieces. And then we'll be able to add those into the platform pop-up. And the great thing is that all of these pieces are sized perfectly to go right on those T-shaped inserts. So it's going to line right over top and then give you these beautiful snow banks to create our fun scene on. Now, this is something really clever that Tammy did that I thought was so fun. She used one of the hills and she wanted it just on the back on that platform pop-up add-on piece. So we're just going to put that piece right there and then mark it with a pencil at each line, and then we can just put it in the paper trimmer and trim it. And that was an idea of Rebecca's that I thought was so cool because you don't have to measure anything, just two little tick marks and trim it in your paper trimmer. Then we can add some adhesive to the back and then layer it there at the back and bottom. And that's going to give us another little snowy hillside in the back to help us form our scene there too. And what we're going to decorate this cute platform pop-up with is Snowball Fight, which is my favorite set from this whole release. I say that about a lot of sets. I have a lot of favorites, but this one is so cute. The little crouching mouse hiding from the snowball just cracks me up. So we went ahead and stamped and colored and die cut a bunch of these images, and we're going to be adding them into our beautiful snowy platform pop-up. Our snow mouse here is going to be going along the back, along that platform pop-up add-on, so we can actually add some foam squares to him, and he's going to have a nice little pop. And I love that he's kind of like waving the flag there for this whole snowball fight. And then we're going to start forming the scene there. So we're going to add our little snowy ice fort there, and one of the characters is going to be throwing a snowball. We're going to be adding some acetate pieces in just a little bit to have some flying elements too. So he's kind of throwing, and we'll add his snowball in just a bit. Now we're going to add another little character there. I love that there's the ones throwing in both directions, which really helps fill the scene. Now, for the front, we're going to do the same idea that we did for the add-ons. Now we're going to add some decoration to the wraparound. So we're going to use our pencil once again to give us some nice tick marks, and then we're just going to trim off those edges. And then we're going to stamp the Happy Winter sentiment from the Snowball Fight stamp set into that cute little snowbank. And then we can add that right onto the platform pop-up wraparound piece. Then we're going to add some more images from Snowball Fight, but also we're going to use that sign that's from the new Absolutely Awesome set, and we're going to stamp one of the sentiments from Snowball Fight in it. So it says Snowball Fight, and I thought that was such a cute idea by Tammy. So we're going to layer that into our scene there. I think it's just adorable. And then continue adding in some cute little characters and images so that the scene is not only on the inside and the back of the platform pop-up, but it's also on the front too. It's time to use some acetate to add in some flying and floating things. And so we're going to be trimming down some thin pieces, about either a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch, somewhere in there. Anything's going to look good. And then we're going to add some tape runner to the top of that and then layer on one of those flying snowballs onto there. And then you can take this piece and put it into your card and kind of see what length it needs to be and trim off any of the excess. I always like to trim my acetate pieces a little bit longer than they need to be so that I can really customize the length so it really looks like he's throwing that snowball. And look how cute that is. So now we're going to continue on with the same idea. We're going to add these cute little snowballs to the acetate pieces and then layer them in the card. And that's what really makes this card so special and feels so dynamic, because you have all of those snowballs just flying around. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some little mini snowflakes here. We're going to die cut them out of white cardstock, and we're going to have some of these attached onto the platform pop-up, either on the wraparound or on the add-on piece. And we're also going to add some on some acetate strips as well so that they really look like they're floating in the sky and like the snow is falling. And you'll see as we add these in, it adds even more beautiful dimension, and it's such a fun and cool things to do. I always love using this little acetate trick because it just makes the card feel so special. So we're going to add a couple more of these cute little snowflakes in, and this platform pop-up is already turning out so cute. Oh my gosh, it just makes me smile. I love these little mice. I love the fact that they're throwing snowballs, and the little guy in the middle is my favorite, and that snow mouse. I mean, oh my goodness, it's just so cute. I just love when it's folded flat and you can see just a little peek at the scene, and then you push up from the bottom and the whole thing just comes to life. It's so cute and so fun, and this card would just make anybody smile. Now that we've created a winter themed platform pop-up, it's time to create an awesome fall themed one. And we're going to be recreating a beautiful card by Megan. And we're die cutting the platform pop-up hillside wraparound out of some Cilantro cardstock. And then we're going to ink that up with some Lucky Clover ink just to add a little bit of dimension. And this is one of Megan's amazing tricks, Cilantro cardstock with Lucky Clover ink, and it always looks magical. Now we're going to set these pieces aside to dry, and we're going to start working on our platform pop-up. So we're going to die cut the platform pop-up from some Watercolor Wishes paper. It's going to end up being this like pretty grass for our apple tree. And then we're also going to cut some of those T-shaped pieces out of that same cilantro cardstock. Then we're going to fold along all of the score lines that the die has created for us, and we're going to do this across both of our platform pop-up add-on main base pieces. Now that we have both pieces, we're going to flip them over because we're going to be working on the inside of these, and we're just going to focus on one of them and one of those T-shaped pieces. We're going to add some 1/4-inch double-sided adhesive below the score line on the T-shaped piece and also on this tab here on the platform pop-up main base piece. Then we're going to fold along that score line on the T-shaped piece. We're going to fit that T-shaped piece through the slot, and we're going to pull it, make sure it's nice and flush, and then we're going to pull up that line of paper and attach that piece down. Then we can pull up the liner paper on the tab, fold up again, and attach that in place, creating an awesome three-dimensional piece. Then we're going to repeat the same thing. So we're going to take our T-shaped piece, we're going to fold along that score line, we're going to add some of that tape adhesive there underneath that score line and also on the tab on the main base piece. We're going to take the T-shaped piece and we're going to fit it through the slot right there. And as we fit it through the slot, we're going to pull and make sure it's nice and flush. And then we can peel up that liner paper and attach that piece down. Then we can peel up the liner paper on that other tab, fold up on the next fold, and attach that down, forming another identical three-dimensional piece. Then we're going to add some tape to the tabs on the side of each of these pieces, and then we're going to start working with our third T-shaped piece. We're going to fold along the score line on that T-shaped piece, but we're actually going to trim that off, and it doesn't need to be perfect, we just need to trim off that edge right there. We're going to add some more of that tape adhesive there on the vertical part of the T. Then we can peel up that liner paper and we're going to attach that T to one of the platform pieces and we're going to kind of eyeball it and line up our two T-shaped pieces just like that. Then the next step is to add some more tape there to the piece that doesn't have the extra T. It only has one of the T's. And then we'll peel up the liner paper on the tab. We're going to butt these two pieces up against each other and push that down, forming one long piece. Then we'll peel up the liner paper there on the platform pop-up base. We'll flip it over and then we'll attach those pieces down there. And then we can peel up the liner paper just like that and attach that. We can push up from the bottom and now we have this awesome three-dimensional card. Now we're going to take a look at our wraparound piece. So we're going to fold along all the score lines that the wraparound piece creates for us. And then we're going to add some of that 1/4-inch double-sided tape again to the tabs of each of these pieces. Then we'll peel up the liner paper on one of the tabs, and then we're going to butt these two pieces up against each other to form one long piece. And then we're going to attach them to form kind of like a ring. So we're going to peel up that liner paper and we can fold it in half and line it up and press down. And now we'll have this wraparound piece that we can put over top of our platform pop-up. So we're going to add some tape runner to that horizontal part of the platform pop-up there. And then we can just put this piece right over, kind of like a belly band. And it fits right over, and it's like you're giving your platform pop-up a new little outfit, right? So now we've got this beautiful green hillside that our apple tree is going to be able to hang out in. Now, in the first card, we combine the wraparound using the brand new Hillside inserts. But on this card, we're actually using the Hillside inserts that came with the original platform pop-up. So you can really mix and match any of these pieces together. The Hillside inserts with the original inserts, the wraparound with the add-on, just the wraparound. There's so many ways to use these. So we're going to add that 1/8-inch tape to the back and bottom of all these pieces. Then we can peel that liner paper up and we can start layering these pieces in. So we're going to layer a hill over the grass there, which is such a cute look. And then we can line that up there in the center, just like that. And then we'll add a hill and grass pieces to the other T. So we're going to add some grass in the back and then a little hill on the front. And to decorate this card, we're going to take out the new Absolutely Awesome and we're going to combine it with Tree Before and Afters and You Autumn Know. And I just love how these sets are going to mix and match. So we'll add some tape runner to the back of that big tree and we're going to put that in the center. And I just love that it's kind of like the center point of the whole card. And that's one of the things I love about platform pop-ups is that you can put these really large images in it and it still works. So we're going to add a barrel of apples, a cute little mouse in overalls holding an apple, kind of picking the apple off the tree. We'll add the cute little guy that's taking a bite out of the apple below. And we're just going to layer a lot of the images from Absolutely Awesome, just creating this really adorable scene. I love the little tiny images because it really fills everything in. Now for the outside of the wraparound, we're going to be doing some decorating. And here we have some Gold Rush cardstock, which is so pretty. And we're going to die cut that with a stitched wavy mortar die. And we're going to do something kind of cool with this. And this was Rebecca's idea, and I thought it was so clever. So she's going to take this piece that she die cut, and she's going to layer it into the wraparound die. That way the die is going to cut it to the perfect size, and it's going to do the score lines for you, and you don't need to measure or do your own score lines. The die is just going to do it. So you can layer that piece in just like that, hold it in place with some tape, run it through the die cut machine, and now you have perfectly cut pieces with the score lines in the perfect placement. And now we're going to be able to layer those around to help kind of fill in the bottom in this cute scene. So we're going to fold along those score lines, and then we'll be able to add those onto the platform pop-up. And we are going to layer these on both the front and the back of the wraparound piece, and that's going to give it a nice seamless look. Then the Hillside wraparound has these really great little panels, and so we're going to die cut the center panel out of some ground coffee cardstock, and we're going to be doing some heat embossing. So we're going to prep that with an anti-static powder tool. We're going to stamp a sentiment from Absolutely Awesome in some clear embossing ink, sprinkle on some white heat embossing powder, and then heat that up with a heat tool for a nice bright white shiny sentiment. We'll add some tape runner to the back of this and then layer that right onto the front of the card. And then to help fill in the rest of the scene on the wraparound, we're going to add a little post there that says fresh apples from Absolutely Awesome, and of course some little cider as well. And then these trees are from the tree before and after set, and so we're going to add those on there and then layer the apples from Absolutely Awesome. And now it looks like we have little mini trees and bigger trees, which I think is just adorable. I love this idea that Megan had so much. So we're going to layer some more on those. And then one of the other really cute things she did was she layered some extra apples onto the tree, and then she also took a mouse and she added it to the back of the tree, like he's at the very top of the tree holding an apple and just so excited that he was able to pick an apple from the top of the tree. And I just think this is so sweet and so adorable. It folds up, you can put it in an envelope, you can press it from the bottom, and you have this beautiful three-dimensional card, and that apple tree in the center is just the perfect thing for this. I think it's so cute, and that wraparound die really makes it look like you're looking into an apple orchard. Now next up, Shari is going to be creating a Halloween platform pop-up. So take it away, Shari.
So I'm creating a card using my little fantastic friends. I've already colored and cut them out. I'm creating a platform pop-up card today, and I'm going to use the new Hillside wraparound and the new Hillside inserts. I've cut 2 of those wraparound pieces from some Bristol cardstock, and I'm going to do a lot of ink blending on this platform pop-up. I'm starting out with some wilted violet. This is along the top of my hillsides. And then I'm going to go in with some villainous potion for a dark purple along the bottom. So that straight edge is the bottom, and of course that curvy hillside is the top. And I will ink both of my pieces exactly the same. So you're going to use 2 of these to wrap all the way around the box, just like you cut 2 of the platform pop-up pieces to create the platform pop-up. And I'm just using a scrap piece of paper here that I cut that hillside from. That is not my other hillside. That is just some throwaway paper. So I've inked both of those the same, and then I've flipped them over, and I'm going to ink the backside, just the top, because you're going to see that above the edge of the platform pop-up box. And because this is kind of a Halloween with dark colors, I want to cover up all the white. I don't want any white, even if it's kind of hiding behind, you'll see it from the inside, and I want that to be hidden. I did that to both of my pieces, and now I'm going to do some stenciling with the new birch tree stencil. I think this is a really fun stencil, and I really like the look of putting some black ink through it onto a really colorful background. It gives you some really great spooky trees. So I'm using some Distress Oxide in black soot, and you'll see me switch over to my brush because the brush actually worked a little better to get into those little details of the stencil. But I'm just going to go all over with this black soot and give me these nice dark trees on that purple background, and I just love the look that it created. It's like a spooky forest that's going to wrap around the whole outside of my platform pop-up. So of course I will repeat this same stenciling process to that second piece that I've already inked in purple. And once I have that really nice and thick layered on there, you can see that really cool look that you get. Now I'm adding some of my gold metallic splatters to kind of give it some texture. And I'm just going to do both pieces at the same time. And this just gives it some texture and it'll catch the light. You get that little bit of shimmer. Then I'll just set these aside to dry and we'll work on the actual platform pop-up box. So now for the platform pop-up box, I need to make sure that I cover up that white edge that's going to stick up with that same Villainous Potion purple. So this is the inside edge. You can see how that's going to blend together. And on this one, I actually started on the outside, so you're going to see me flip that over and go back to the inside. It doesn't matter. That little piece I inked on the outside is going to be completely covered up by that wraparound. Now I need to cover the top part of the platform that you see with a color as well. I started out with Blueprint Sketch, but decided that was a little too bright of a blue for the kind of the Halloween spooky scene I wanted. So I switched it out for some Prize Ribbon, which is a bit darker, and just covered it up. And that I really liked a lot better. So I did that to both of those platform pop-up pieces. Then I have a bit of black soot distress oxide. I'm adding a little bit of water to it and just adding some black flecks to that platform area. These will dry and you'll get that really cool chalky finish that you get with distress oxides. Now for my hillside inserts, I want these to match my platform. So I'm going in with that Prize Ribbon again, going all over the hills and just completely coloring this white cardstock with that Prize Ribbon ink. You could do all this out of some colored cardstock, but I really like inking things. I think it's really fun and you get lots of different variety in the color as well. And then I'm pulling in that black soot with a brush and just giving the tops of the hills a little bit of darkness. So I'll do that to all 3 of those hills that will be inserted into here. So I think this is going to have a fun look going from that blue platform. The blue will go up the hills and then it'll fade to the black at the top of the hills. And I've picked out 3 of those hillsides to use. There are 4, so you get lots of variety and get to choose which hillsides you want to use in your card. And then I'm just adding some really fine gold flecks to these so it will catch the light. I'll set those aside to dry, and since my platform has dried, I can fold along all the score lines that the die creates so I can start to form my platform pop-up box. And I'll do that to both pieces. And then where those little tabs are, that is where I'm going to put my double-sided adhesive tape. I also have the little inserts. I cut these from black so that, again, they blend in with things and aren't stark white. And I'm just using the thin adhesive tape to put a piece of adhesive all the way across the top. And then I can stick my hillsides to my insert pieces. You can see there I actually inked both sides of my hillsides again, so I didn't have any bright white that caught your eye and you're like, what is this part that's unfinished? So I'm just sticking these to the back of all my hillsides, and then I'm going to assemble my box. So I'm going to start by gluing the outside edges together using my grid mat to make sure everything's nice and straight. And then I'm going to insert my hillsides by folding on the score line at the bottom of the T, and then I'll add a little bit of adhesive to that part, stick it in the slot. Now this one is facing away from me, because this is going to be the front of the box. I'm going to pull off that adhesive, get that part all stuck down. You can see how that works. And then this is the hillside that's going to be in the back. So again, adding adhesive, folding that little T on the score line, and this one is going to be facing towards me. You want to make sure they're both facing the same direction so that when you fold this box over, they all face the front. And then for the center one, I can just cut that little piece off the bottom of the T because I don't need it. Adhere that to the big flat piece in the center. And then I'm adding my adhesive tape all over that middle piece. And then I can fold this closed. I'm going to line up that big solid piece in the middle, and then I'll fold my tab under and finish the box. So you can see there what that looks like. And then I'm doing the same process for my wraparound. It has 3 folds. One is that little tab. Basically, I'm going to assemble this just like I would the box, adding some adhesive to those tabs. And then I will pull off that liner paper and line these up and basically create the wraparound for the box. So you can make this ahead of time and then slide it over the box. That's what I'm going to do. I'm using my grid mat to make sure it's all nice and straight. I love how that hillside matches up perfectly on the sides, so you have a continuous hill all the way around. And my stenciling of my trees lined up perfectly too, which I just think is awesome. I don't have any trees overlapping, which just, it worked out perfectly. So there is the shape of the box, and all you have to do is slide it over the outside of the platform pop-up box. Now I'm using Bristol cardstock, so it's pretty thick and it actually is pretty snug, but just to be sure, I'm sliding it back off, or I'm actually not going to take it all the way off. You can see how snug it is. I'm pulling it up just a bit so I can add some adhesive along the bottom, which is kind of hard to do when you've already put adhesive on the back side. But I could have used tape. It would have been a little easier. And then I'm going to slide it back down and just press it with my fingers, make sure it's stuck down. Now to start to add some pieces to the inside of my box. I've cut the full moon from some sunflower cardstock, and I'm just adding some inking to the top of it so it's not so solid. I've used some wild honey, distress oxide, and then I'm going along the edge with some rusty hinge. And this is just along the top. The bottom of the moon is going to be attached to one of the hillsides inside the box. And then of course, to make everything consistent, I'm adding those gold metallic splatters along the top of my moon. So this moon is going on the back side of the hillside in the back of the box. It's kind of creating a backdrop. You know, we have our platform pop-up add-on that creates a backdrop. This is another fun way to create a backdrop. Put a large solid element on that backmost panel. Then I'm creating a tree with a branch. I'm using the birch tree dies. I've cut these from black cardstock so you have that spooky tree that matches the stenciled trees along the bottom. And I'm just taking 2 of the trees and crossing them so that I have this branch sticking out on one side. And then I'll just trim off the piece to the left. And I've created this fun spooky tree, which I'll trim down. I don't need it that tall, so I'm making it shorter. And then this will stick to that center insert. And I'm using liquid glue so I can kind of adjust it a little bit and get the look I want. I'm adding this cute little bat that's hanging from the tree. This is why I wanted to create the branch, so that he's over here hanging in front of the moon. I'm going to add this one that's flying. He's up on the moon. And then I'm actually going to go in with a black glaze pen and add some highlights to their eyes. So this pen makes a nice shiny black mark, so it's going to make their eyes stand out a little bit more, which looks really nice when you have those dark gray bats. I also used a white gel pen to color in their fangs so that those stood out a little bit more too. And then this guy with his wings out, I know he hangs upside down when you look at the stamp set, but I like putting him right side up too. And he's just going to go on that hill in the front. And you can see since I've used that liquid glue, I can kind of make my tree crooked, which makes it look a little more spooky, but also pulls that bat that's in the middle away from being exactly behind the bat I just put on the front. And then I'm adding my little pumpkin treat basket to the one that's flying. I guess he's headed out to get some treats for Halloween. Now for my sentiment, I'm using Have a Fantastic Day from Fantastic Friends. I've cut that so I can stack those words, and I'm going to be embossing this on a little piece of vellum. I'm using some VersaFine ink for this. This is a pigment oil-based ink, so it's not going to spread because vellum isn't a porous surface. I'm adding clear embossing powder, and I'll heat that up with my heat tool. And then I have this black sentiment. And then I'm taking the little insert piece. This is part of the Hillside wraparound die set. This fits on that hillside. You can see that curved top, and you get that nice stitching detail. And I decided to do this in vellum because I didn't want to cover up all my cool spooky trees that I stenciled, and this kind of has a cool ghostly look. So I have these little spiders from Fantastic Friends, and I'm going to place these in the corners of my vellum. And then this is going to give me a place to hide my adhesive that glues my vellum to my background piece. I really like this cute little spider hanging from the string. So now I can put my glue behind the spiders, and then I just put a couple dots. I decided to pick the A's in the sentiment because they kind of had a nice that area. I could put a dot of glue and hide that. So this is going to hold my little sentiment panel on there, and then I'll just trim off that extra string from my spider. And I'll make sure that the top of his string where I trimmed it off is glued to the background piece. And then here is my finished platform pop-up card. I love that you can see that big moon with the bat when you first pull it out of an envelope, and then you can pop it up and like the other bats appear. I just think it's really fun. I love all the inking on this card. Those trees on that wraparound piece just look amazing to me. And I just love that we have some more options for our platform pop-up now with these new Hillside add-ons.
Oh my goodness, Shari, this is absolutely incredible. I just love those birch trees you stenciled too. And next up, we have some gorgeous cards by the design team. And this card by Elena just blew me away. And she uses a brand new stamp set in there that is so cute. Next up, Callie used Happy Harvest in there, and I love that she did some stenciling along her wraparound too. It is such a cute fall card. And then Maureen created the most incredible Halloween card. I love all the little tiny images from Spooky Village on her card. And then here is the card by Tammy that inspired us to make ours today. Oh, I just love it. This card by Audrey is so pretty, and I love the Let It Snow in the background and those big snowflakes. It's just gorgeous. And this card by Mindy is so beautiful. I love the pumpkins and the cute little bats, and all of the colors are so bright and bold. And then here is the card by Megan that inspired us to make ours today. Oh, I just love that little apple tree. It's so sweet. This card by Lynette is just gorgeous. I love the red and white color palette. It's just beautiful. And then here, Letitia created such a cute card with our awesome Foxy family, and I love how it says, "To my Foxy friend." It's so cute and sweet. So we cannot wait to see all of the platform pop-ups you're going to decorate and create, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!